Hey, Samantha, how you doing?
Good morning. It's a beautiful day outside, and
Isn't it a great spring day? A little
you
chilly,
know,
hence the jacket. Yeah,
well,
yeah,
yeah, we're both there, but
yeah.
it'll warm up, and I'm looking forward to spring in Texas.
Same here, same here. So we haven't been talking for a while, and want to apologize to everybody. I'm in the middle of Bold, and during our normal talks, and so we're kind of behind on our postings, which are very important to, especially in this situation we got going on. We got a lot of stuff going on in real estate, don't we, Samantha?
There is. It's a fun time of year. Interest rates are changing, and we're reaching the season where we have more people putting their houses on the market.
Hmm.
And there's a lot going on. And today we were going to talk about something that's not even about selling your home or buying your home. It's about being a homeowner.
Very important. We want to educate people. I think a lot of people, um, they want the dream, and then the reality shows up, and we need to prepare them for that, right?
Absolutely. This is we're sitting here at the beginning of April, and we were talking about this the other day because it's starting to make an impact on people. Right now, if you own a home, you're starting to get your escrow analysis. Which should we talk about what the escrow is?
Yeah, I
So people
think
know.
we need to kind of educate them about this, because again, why is a lender worried about property taxes, appraisal, blah blah blah? Why are you worried about it? Because it's part of what's on their payment, right?
Well, it is. So the taxes and insurance are escrowed into their payment, and they get paid by the mortgage company once a year. Here in Bell County, Coryell County, Central Texas, taxes are due either in October or December, and they get paid by the mortgage company out of your escrow account in October or December. And your insurance comes due. It's annually due in time with when you bought the house. So in between February and May, you're going to start getting your escrow analysis, which says, hey, when we paid your taxes and we paid your insurance, both of those went up or they went down, and your payment's going to change a little bit. A lot of people think that it's their loan payment changing. It's not, unless they have a adjustable rate mortgage, but you don't see many of those right now.
No, not right
Um,
now.
but a lot of people think that that's what's changing. It's not that. It's actually your taxes and insurance that can change. And I just got my escrow analysis the other day, and like to have fallen on the floor, because my payment did go up fairly significantly. As I look back at it, yeah, my taxes went up last year, my insurance went up last year, and we're about to get our assessments for our homes here in Texas.
Hmm.
So
Right.
April to May, we're going to start getting that nice little letter from the county that says, "Hey, here's what we think the taxable value of your house is."
Mhm.
And that's confusing because people think that's an actual appraised value, but it's not an appraisal; it's an assessment, and that's not what the house is truly worth. But it is important because that's what your taxable base is. And if people see, here's what I would tell people: hey, you guys out there, if you see your taxable base go up significantly, you need to be calling Bill's team and asking them if they can, do a CMA for you. And you can dispute that value with the county. Absolutely important to do.
Right, right. Just and I want to be careful here. I every day are on county roads. I drive through county areas, and if something was to happen to me, I would want county first responders to
Assistance.
show
Yeah,
up. Right. And we got to be careful that I and you have a budget as well as our buyers. And we got to, make sure. So this is one of those budget items that we actually have an ability to contest. And I would encourage you to contest. And I think the assessments that are going to be coming out this year, we're going to have a lot of people. I bet, well, it's, this morning I was listening to a radio station out of Austin, and a guy was on there, really fired up. And as citizens, I think it's our duty, as well as to pay our taxes, is to make sure we're properly taxed.
absolutely. And a lot of people don't know what our property taxes pay for. They pay for our schools. They do pay for road maintenance and infrastructure. I mean, it pays for us to live, and it pays for our community to look nice. It
Mm-hmm.
pays to educate our children. All of those are important things. But this last year, we've had such a significant run up in value. I think that's where you're going to see we're going to have these significant run ups in assessed values as well. But
Yeah, the guy on the
hey, you
radio, I
guys,
don't know now, this is a radio, so conversation. So I don't know how much of this is true. One of his properties, now this is an Austin area, had 100% increase. Now I think part of that might be because Bubba probably does fight. I want to, I don't like the word fight because I don't want us going in there with our pitchforks and our, what are the Kentucky long rifles and, start a revolution. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people are going to see 30-40% increases easy. So yeah, where do you want to be on that? And that's really going to affect your
it definitely will.
payment.
But they can actually protect themselves a little bit from that. They can mitigate some of that by making sure that they file their homestead exemption.
Mm-hmm. VA disability. We were in a VA centric area, and anytime I'm talking to people that are vets, first thing out of my mouth is, "Hey, do you have a disability?" 10%, 20%, 30%. If you got 100% disability, you pay zero taxes.
Absolutely.
And so
property taxes.
Property taxes. Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting. Let's keep this a property tax conversation. But you need to, be aware of that going on.
Absolutely. And so, back to kind of what we were talking about, if you're out there and you own a property and your assessed value goes way up, call Bill, call me. We'll be glad to help kind of talk you through it and make sure that you can either request a escrow analysis again, a reanalysis based on the new numbers, or you can start adding more to your escrow account so that next year your payment doesn't go up even more. So let's say your taxes go up and it goes up, let's just say $2,400 a year, which is not, that's basically a $100,000 increase. If you've recently purchased your house, you may find that is the case. So, that's $200 a month increase. If you don't address that at this point, next year your payment will go up $400 to cover that $200 shortage and to get ready for the next year.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge deal.
Right. And we got to be thinking about this, on so many levels, because again, going out there and working on this will keep it in line, not just for you, but for the neighbors as well. And so this needs to be kind of a coordinated thing for us all to do. And I want to, we have other videos on this channel that just talk about this. So feel free to look at that. There's websites that you can get on. So, it's not going to really take as much time as you think to do this stuff. And you don't have to be a CPA. You do a lawyer or a realtor to do this work. There are companies, by the way, that you can pay to do this, but I'm going to be honest with you, just a little reading and a few phone calls and emails, because the way they got it set up because of COVID, it'll be interesting to see how this year kind of rock and rolls because of COVID. A lot of this stuff you didn't even have to go down to the county.
Well, and so there are two other things I want to make sure we bring up real quick. One is, if you got a big check from your mortgage company this year saying that you had overpaid your escrow, don't spend that money until you check with the mortgage company and find out why you're getting such a big check. You really shouldn't be if it was set up correctly. If you purchased a new construction home in the last year, you may be getting a check and you need to send that one right back to the mortgage company and tell them to put it back in your escrow account. Because possibly last year the county didn't know that you had a house on it. They thought it was still dirt. So definitely those are the two things I will tell people. If you get a check, don't spend it till you confirm. And if you had new construction, don't spend it. Put it back in the escrow account.
Well, let me drill a little deeper on that point. What Samantha's talking about is you, when you buy a property for that calendar year, have the old information's benefit. For instance, I just said, if you bought a house from a disabled vet that has 0 on there, guess what you have on there? And so it kind of messes up the numbers sometimes, and you got to be careful.
Absolutely. And they've actually changed it so that when the disabled veteran sells the house, it drops off.
Right. Well, there's been a lot of changes.
There were. We had some real interesting issues with that for a while.
Homestead now is automatic too, but that was a change that was done in the last time they were in session.
I think you can file for homestead anytime during the year starting next January. So used to you had to wait until the January after you purchased the home. So next year you can file at any point in time, which will be good. But you know, that brings another thing to mind. When you buy a house, the county typically sends you a letter that asks you how much you paid for it.
Got one. I bought an investment property, a commercial investment property. Guess what I got?
You got that letter, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
And do you have to fill it out?
It went in the trash can.
Exactly.
So,
You're
yeah.
not required to tell the county how much they should tax you.
Yeah. And now I did read it because I wanted to see the language. Nowhere really in that language they tell you that. So
it looks real official, doesn't it?
Well, it is official. However, you are not required to answer that letter. But what are we trained as good citizens to think when you get a taxing authority sending you something like that?
Absolutely.
I got to answer this. But yeah, no, don't throw it in the trash. The only reason you answer that letter is, and you're not doing that in this market, is you buy a property that is much lower than what? The assessed value.
Assessed value.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so the moral of that story is yeah, don't answer that. Oh man, we chased a rabbit there.
Yeah.
Let's get back on because you had 2 points.
that's part of 2 points.
Oh, no, those
don't
are
cash
2
the
points.
escrow check. And if you've got new construction, that money needs to go back. And
Yeah.
don't answer the letter. I mean, those are, it is going to be interesting this year. I know we're all kind of like nail biting, waiting on our assessed values to come out.
I mean, I'm just going to tell you, Bill's, and this has happened in this area. I remember Coryell County, I got a bee in their bonnet and sent it out to everybody. And they literally did have people with pitchforks and torches down at the county courthouse. And they had to call in reinforcements and shut down the meeting because it got kind of, out of control.
Got a little hairy, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
this is
if you've lived in
ago,
well, if you've lived in your house for quite some time and you've had your homestead exemption, your assessed value is lower than probably the real value. For instance, I wouldn't sell my house. I've been in my house 10 years. I wouldn't sell it for what it assesses for.
No. Yeah. Especially if you fight it. I mean, again, and we've talked about this in other videos, is if you pulled up your neighborhood, pick a neighborhood in the, I think it's Sedario Springs in the Waco area, Yow Ranch and Killeen, one of these subdivisions, big subdivisions, look, and you'll be surprised the assessed values. There'll be the little old lady that doesn't fight it because she has it locked in, and her assessed value is $1 trillion for a house. That 3 doors down, the young couple sits there and fights it every year, and they know them. The staff knows them by first name, and their assessed value is way lower. And so, yeah, it's kind of interesting that is not, because I hear it all the time, Samantha, when someone goes to the list of property, my assessed value is this. And I'm like, no, I only look at your tax records to see what the square footage is and who owns it. After that,
exactly. Make sure you own it. And
and how big it is. After that, I have clients tell me more about their other stuff that's on there, and I'm like, well, that's great information.
Interesting. On the flip side of it, we have borrowers who see the assessed value and they're like, why am I paying $300,000 when the assessed value is $180,000? Well, because the assessed value is $180,000 because they've owned it for 20 years and they can only increase it 10% a year. So because of their homestead, and it just can't keep up with the market, and the market has exploded the last 2 years. So, I mean, yeah, you can anticipate your taxes to go up. It's just the nature of the beast. But you can protect yourself by contesting some of those values if they're truly not fair.
And again, people watching this video will go back and hear some of this already being spoke about. Is we're a non-report state in Texas, hence why we do not, for instance, they do not have access to the multiple listing service. We as realtors are very protective about if someone calls me and asks me how much we paid for your house as a buyer agent or even as a seller agent, I go, who are you talking about?
Remember.
Yeah, who's this?
Not sure.
Yeah. So the moral of that story is they do know there are, and you can look this information up, it's on the web, and they do have like regional information and some averages, but they do not know what you paid for your house or how much a house is actually selling in Yow Ranch. And so, yeah, just
not unless somebody fills out that letter.
Yeah, that's the only way. Yeah. So, be proactive about this stuff. So Samantha,
I just highly recommend on the mortgage side, that they contact, they can contact me and I'll be glad to help them break it down. They can contact their mortgage company and ask their mortgage company. Understand that the servicing departments of mortgage companies don't always understand the intricacies of Texas property tax. But, definitely double check it. Just make sure that things look right.
Don't be afraid to ask, Samantha, Bill, the I-35 group, the other agents on there a question. Once a transaction is done, we're not out of your lives. We're here. We're your realtor. You're their mortgage person for life. So don't be bashful and go, well, I don't want to bother Bill. I don't want to bother Samantha. We'll slow down.
That's what we're here for.
We'll stop and go, hey, let's deal with this. Let's answer these questions.
Absolutely.
So Samantha, awesome. I don't want numbers per se. What's going on in mortgage rates? Because again, people will watch this 2 weeks from now. It's going to be totally different.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
They're trending upward. The Fed came out and said that they are committed to fighting inflation, and interest rates are going to be the way to do it. They already increased the Fed funds rate, and they are committing to increasing the Fed funds rate more throughout the year. We're already seeing, not super specific numbers, but 2 months ago, interest rates were in the 2s. We're now starting to see them in the 4s and 5s, depending on credit score and loan type and things like that. And guys, if you guys are watching this, I know 4 sounds like a ridiculous number because we've been sitting in the 2s for the last couple of years, but 4 to 5 is really kind of it's kind of a sweet spot.
Still a deal. I listen to a lot of investors and gurus, and what's interesting is they don't blink at 5%. They just make sure the deal works at 5%, because that's still a ridiculous low. It's below the average, and so we got to realize that. Well, Samantha, we really appreciate your time and coming on and your concern, and I just want people to be able to realize that you're really a come from contribution in people's lives, and that's the reason why you're part of our team. If somebody wanted to reach out to you, how would they do that?
Easiest ways to reach out to me are my cell phone, 254-624-4307. If they want to go to my website, it's weknowfinancing.com. Super easy, because we do know financing and we understand it. So feel free to reach out to us at any time. I really enjoy coming on here and chatting with you, Bill. There's so much information that we can get out to people in a way that it's easy for them to grab it and get sound bites and move on. Thanks for letting me be involved.
Well, we again, folks, we've been in a relationship with Samantha for a while, and the reason we have chosen her out of, this time, I was telling my crew that we're going to start getting chocolate chip cookies and coffee from other mortgage people, because refis are pretty much out. And I told them, no. And the reason why is Samantha just shows up big in people's lives, and I definitely. That's the reason she's going to be on our team. And I don't care how many, chocolate chip cookies and Dr. Peppers are a good way to, turn Bill's head, but not when it comes to Samantha and Ryan and the rest of her team. Hey, we look forward to talking to you again, Samantha.
Hold on. How do they get a hold of you?
Well, I was about to say that.
Oh, good. Okay.
First off is we do want you to subscribe. We do want you to hit the like button. We'd like to hear your comments about what's been said. Maybe we'll learn something. Maybe you'll ask a question and we'll learn something, or we might be able to answer that question real quick for you, and other people have the same question. So please use all that stuff on the YouTube channel, but you can also reach me at my cell, 254-495-5661. Feel free to text or call anytime. And my email, bill@i35group.com. Of course, that's also our website, i35group.com, where you can look at houses or reach out to us. And Samantha, it was great talking to you. I learned something, and I know everybody that watched this has learned something, and we'll see everybody later.
Sounds good. Thanks, Bill.
Bye now.